What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some Dragon Ball FighterZ for y'all. So I kind of just realized I'm pretty surprised about this. There's not a lot of guides on how to fight characters. There's a lot of guides on how to play characters, strengths and weaknesses that characters have, team building, stuff like that. So I wanted to start this series on how to beat characters in Dragon Ball. So I'm going to start with pretty popular characters. I'm going to save the characters I play for last because of course. And today we're going to start with one of the characters that has affected this game the most, Bardock.
Hi, this is Gilbert Godfrey. This is about Arc-size game legend LordKnight. Check into it and subscribe it. And you can ask all the people who like it. Do it now!
Okay, so before we start, let's look at Bardock and talk about what type of character he is. So Bardock is kind of a standard hybrid character. So my base of what is a standard character is basically characters like SSJ Goku, SSJ Vegeta, and etc. So Bardock has a couple of things in common with those characters, but he also has a few things unique to him. The main thing about Bardock that makes him stand out compared to other characters is that he is really good at traversing the screen to the point that it changed the way the game was played, and it changed the way the devs changed characters season after season, especially with this move, our buddy Larry. So with that in mind, let's start with the round start. So round start, that is when the two characters jump at each other and the game says let's go. So you have an immediate issue you have to deal with, which is Larry, our buddy Larry. He can start the round with this and with this. You need to know how to deal with both of these in order to fight him well. Why does this matter? One, if he hits you at the start of the round, he generally gets a combo somehow. So if he hits you this, and then he'll corner you right away. If you block, he gets offense. So depending on the assist, this will be airtight or not. Usually it's not, but it doesn't really make a difference. You're reflected in the assist, he's going to be right in your face. And if you backdash, this still catches you. And he can still combo you. In the case of jumping, if he reads your jump, he can chase you as well. So in this case here, I'm going to use SSJ Goku assist. And if you block, he gets 50-50. If he hits you, he doesn't get a combo with all assists. He's usually aiming to catch you blocking with this. Something along these lines. So with all of that in mind, what do we do? There's a few things. So one thing you can do here is try to hit his lariat before it gets to you. This is 100% character specific, and you have to see if you can do it with your team. Whatever normally you use, I usually use a jab. You buffer the next button. So when you hear me do it here, I'm already pressing the next button, but my button will only come out if I hit him. So the nice thing here is that if he whiffs the up punch, you can sometimes punish him. Again, it kind of depends on what's going on. Alternatively, you can just super jump away and get away from both. If you jump backwards, you're giving them ground towards the corner, so just be careful. If you jump forwards, then he might get you. Usually you have to do a dashing jump maybe to get over the up punch, but then the lariat will reach you. Now also don't forget, you don't have to practice, if you do set this up, you don't have to practice doing like lariat plus assist. The assist will always come after the move, so just practice against the move at the start of the round. So next, neutral. So Bardock has a couple of things you really want to watch out for neutral. First, again, is going to be our buddy Larry. The main issue with this move and what makes it so good is that it's really fast and it travels really far. So the threat of this move will definitely depend on their assists. So here I have GT and SSJ Goku. So generally, they're not actually going to be doing lariat straight up a lot to you on the ground. With assists like these, they're actually aiming to get you in the air to force you down, because he can travel across the air really quickly too also. Usually he'll use the ground one with either assists that will give him a lot of plus frames on the ground easily. He can do it with both of these, of course, but you'll see it even more with things like Yamcha, blast assists like Trunks, if they play like Vegito, like a 45-degree angle assist. It's all really good with that. So the main strategy against this will be to just keep that in mind and pay attention to his assists and try to stay out of that range. Alternatively, you have the usual, you can just cover it by trying to fire Ki Blast and stuff. He's going to use this to try to get in, so you need to preemptively cover that space. Now, a move that's much less commonly used, but also still really strong, is a punch, and it is worth talking about because it's so good. You can use this with a lot more assists because he is the one who's going to the air, and it's used to, again, bring you to the ground. It's also really good anti-air. It beats Super Dash. Now, this you kind of had to avoid. It's just making your jump not predictable, so using like floats, super jump fast falls, and just paying attention to his range in general. It doesn't travel as far, and the speed is, like, it's fast, but it's easier to deal with since you know there's a much more specific smaller line. Lariat, the actual horizontal lariat, travels really far. It travels from like here. I still hit him, but in comparison, this is basically just from here. Like, if I'm a little farther, I still get it. From around here, it won't anti-air. Now, next is talking about his Ki Blast. So he has a Ki Blast. This is the problem. Of course, it's a single hitting Ki Blast, so he can create pressure from full screen, but he's not good at zoning with Ki Blast compared to other characters. Like, say here, I have base Vegeta, I can fire multiple, I can fire 2, I can fire 3, so he loses, Bardock loses the Ki Blast war to base Vegeta, but Bardock has something special that he could do in that he can get to you instantly with his EX Lariat. Now, in previous versions of the game, this used to jail into vanish, but it does not anymore, so they cannot use this to approach anymore. You can see here that I can get him off me. This means a lot. So, for example, you could do this and actually get him now. But the more classic answer is that you could actually stop him, since that is not airtight, and punish him with 2H. So here I have two recordings set up. I have Bardock backdashing and doing a Ki Blast from full screen and nothing, and then a Ki Blast and EX Lariat. So here, right, you can practice, and it takes a little practice, but it can be done. Practice seeing it and trying to reflect it. When the reflect is successful, just look for the vanish freeze, and then you could 2H and get your punish that you deserve. And the nice thing is that in this version, even if you mess up, you can still reflect the vanish anyway. So next we could talk about his air mobility. The main thing is that he can travel across the screen with air lariat. We talked about this before. When he is generally going to use this with an assist like this. So what this does is, if you block the lariat in the air, you get forced to the ground. So one thing about this move is that it's really hard to punish when he has an assist. So in this example, I'm going to try to super dash under him. Here I got hit, he gets a combo. Here I just don't get anything. So generally you have to be above him to try to punish it. When you try to do it from under, it is really, really hard to get him. To the point where I'm just like, if he has an assist, just like kind of let him rock and just avoid it. When he doesn't have an assist, it's much easier to chase because there's nothing covering him in case he messes up, and if your super dash whiffs, he can't punish you. Alright, let's talk about defense next. So there's a few things you need to know about Bardock. So one, we'll start with his stagger game. He has a really, really good stagger game compared to other characters for a couple of reasons. The first one is his jab has a special property in where it has more block stun than normal. So essentially what this means is his jab is not treated as a jab. Even though it does light damage and stuff like that, it has the block stun of medium or heavy move. So you can see here is my 2L 2L. This is 2L delay 2L. This is 5L 2L, right? Now this is 5L delay 2L. Still airtight. Now, all his frame data is good. So this move is -3, this move is -4, this move is -5, this move is also -4, this move is -4, this move is -5, this move is -4, and then you have his heavies, which don't matter, and his special moves are all also safe on block too. So what this means is that he's tricky, and it's easy for him to reset pressure, and you don't know when he is going to reset it. A good strategy for this is a couple of things. One, you want to pay attention to their assists. When they burn their assists, they're going to try to stagger you, but when they do so, it's a risk. So try to wait for them to burn their assists before taking that type of risk. The other thing is pay attention to where they like resetting pressure. So it is much trickier for them to do like this than to do something like this, right? We know that once they get to this point in their string, they don't have that many options, especially if they do something like this. They don't have that many options available, so just try to wait for that. Now, because his frame data is so good, he's also hard to guard cancel as a result. So, for example, you don't want to try to guard cancel his staggers. He's going to kill you, and he has really easy touch of death with basically every character. You want to aim for the startup of moves if you're even going to try to do it to normals. So instead of doing something like this, so in this example, he's going to block. You're going to aim for that. Another thing you can aim for is guard canceling a special move when you see it. So here, I did it a little fast, but that's something you can aim for as well. Now next up, Tyrant Lancer. So this move is pretty unique. It is a +4, which is really good, and he can charge it. So the main thing about this is that it is a mid, it is plus. There is a big gap. It's 26 frames generally. So you have a few responses. So if you really know they're going to do it, and one rule that I have is that once a player uses a move, that move is on the table. Some Bardock players don't use it that much, right? Some Bardock players use it a lot. So once you see it in play, it's going to come again, for sure. If you really know it's coming, go for the mash, go for the read. If you don't know and you block it, I mean, they have the advantage, and honestly, it's fine. He can't actually, like, mix you up. He can try to, like, do a system thing after, and he has advantage. You could also reflect it, and it's a guaranteed punish. It's -23 on reflect, so you can basically do whatever you want. The main thing you got to worry about is, are they willing to hold it? But if they do hold it, it's easier to mash. So this is a move about paying attention to their tendency. The number one thing I could tell you to not do is, one, don't challenge it the first time. Try to see what they like to do first, so that will help inform your choices for later. And two, don't freak out when you block it. It is +4. But again, you're going to use this move to get data on them and see how they like to do offense to you. Now, the last thing we could talk about as far as defense is how he is not good at doing mix-ups without having certain assists. So I have both beam assists here. So the main way he's going to mix you up is by making you block a move like Larry into assist call and then trying to 50-50 you there, or trying to do up punch plus assist. And if you block the up punch, he gets like a left-right / high-low kinda, or catching you with Lariat and calling assist, and then doing like Dragon Rush or something. He needs high blocks and assists to get really good high-low mix-ups. Generally, he can't get that good stuff alone. He has to rely on assist mechanics, so he has to, for example, get you to respect this. Another thing to keep in mind is that offense like this. So here you saw a little gap there. So keep in mind that he's generally minus here when he does stuff like that. So if you're a normal sized character, you can try to delay mash, and if he does this, you could try to hit him. I didn't do the setup the best I could, but... And last, to wrap this up, we'll talk a little bit about his assists. If they're playing Bardock, they're either playing the Larry assist or Bardock B. So as far as his A assist, it's pretty standard. We're used to this. It's a pretty good assist. It's not like a standout assist. The main thing you have to look for, of course, is that one, it's fast. So it's good in scrambles. So if you're under them, they will call it. If you are on the ground, they will call it. Now, there's a little bit more that goes into fighting Bardock B. So I think Bardock B is definitely like a top class assist. Probably not the like in the group of the absolute best assists. But the main things you need to pay attention to as far as this assist is that, one, it always comes out in front of the opponent, as opposed to a beam, which usually appears on your character or behind your character that's being called. right? So what this means is they can't use this assist in ways that other assists are used. So for example, if they're jumping and calling Bardock, it basically doesn't do anything, so pay attention to that. So what this means for the opponent is that if they want to use Bardock B in neutral, they have to do something and call the assist. So for example, with GT, there are times where you can legitimately just call GT like this. That is actually not a bad idea to do. You're jumping forward, the opponent might jump at you, seeing you jump, and you cover that line with GT, right? But with Bardock, you can't do something like that. So with Bardock, you have to do like Key Blast and Assist. That is very, very plus, and we can see here that there's basically no gap here, right? But I'm blocking a Key Blast, so I can reflect the Bardock assist and move. Now, finally, the last thing to pay attention to is that it is a grounded assist. So if you are airborne, it'll be harder for people to bring you down and use that assist. Generally, they'll be aiming for you when you're on the ground, so just keep that in mind. Alright, hopefully all that helped. Bardock's a pretty common character. There's a lot of comments I've read and heard people say where they find Bardock to be predictable and not so bad, but I think that kind of comes from some of the limitations I mentioned before, like he's not that good at doing mix-ups of all assists and stuff like that. But overall, the character is mad strong and is constantly played at high level. High level Bardocks are really strong and really scary, so hopefully this advice helped. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.